Internet. This one is from the 5 Levels of Attachment by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. And this one I'm reading for all of those out there that consider themselves Marxists or communists or capitalists or free market people or, I don't know, liberal, conservative. If you think you're right about anything, this is for you. Whenever we hear someone say that the world should be such and such way, as beautiful as the idea may be, we must realize that it can be easily corrupted, because for the world to be in this ideal state, the idealist must impose his or her beliefs on others and subjugate those who refuse to fit in with their perfect image of the world. Sometimes we think that the only way to make someone a better person, and, by extension, make the world a better place, is to convince them that they should see things our way. But there are plenty of people around us who don't behave the way we think they should, and we waste energy trying to convince them to be something they're not, instead of allowing them to be who they are. When we think that we know more or better than somebody else, we are setting ourselves up for a clash of beliefs. This is what corrupts a beautiful idea. The idea can be anything: organic food, civil rights, tolerance, animal rights, world peace, or seemingly any noble idea you can think of. A fanatical attachment to any of these ideas will create more harm than good. Once the attachment to the belief outweighs the importance of the message, it corrupts the idea. Respect is lost and freedom is compromised. Without respect for freedom of choice, peace is not possible. When we become so attached to those noble beliefs, we use guilt or place conditions on others to encourage them to conform to our standards. We know we are doing this when we hear ourselves say things like, "Aren't you ashamed of what you're doing?" Or, "How could you be so thoughtless?" To bend others to our will, we look for anything that tugs at their emotional structure. And when we cannot find any buttons to push, we may become even angrier and more uncompromising. In the case of loved ones whom we feel are harming themselves through bad habits, we may think by instilling fear in them we can bring about lasting change. "You must get help. You have to let me help you. You should not be doing this to yourself." Unfortunately, this type of approach simply causes more pain. Someone who is shamed into making changes isn't changing anything. We are all free to choose our beliefs and create our attachments from our own point of view. There is no one master plan we must all follow or perish. There are 7 billion people living in our world, and so there are 7 billion different points of view. If we each insisted that only our point of view is valid, then we would also have 7 billion clashes in our world. As long as we engage in the "I am right and you are wrong" struggle, there will always be conflict. It is our attachment to being right, our attachment to our personal importance, that keeps us from experiencing freedom in both our personal dream and the dream of the planet. Freedom of choice is not about being right or wrong. It is about opening up the channels of communication and respecting one another as human beings in order to create a community that we share with one another. When we become too attached to an ideal, the first thing that we lose is respect. First for the people around us, and eventually for ourselves. While our points of view may differ, we are all product of the same source. The only thing that separates us is our attachment to our own point of view, and our attachment to the belief that others must share it. This is when we begin putting conditions on our love for one another, and this is the source of conflict. 5 Levels of Attachment, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. Good stuff, man. I love the Ruiz family if you didn't already know. Peace and love.